Pet tortoises are famous pets for lots humans for the reason that they're quiet, cute particularly as hatchlings, and don't shed any fur. But tortoises can stay a completely lengthy time, everywhere from 50 to 100 years. If you're taking one as a puppy, be organized to offer an entire life of care and recollect that your puppy may even outlive you in case you select to preserve one as a puppy. Behavior and temperament: most tortoises are docile and have a tendency to be shy until men are positioned into an enclosure with every different. This isn't recommended. Male tortoises should end up competitive towards every different or even assault every different, every so often ensuing in extreme injury. Most tortoises are too massive to deal with as adults, and it's recommended now no longer to deal with them to any outstanding diploma while they're smaller, either. This can reason the tortoise stress, which frequently ends in contamination if the demanding state of affairs is ongoing. The largest disadvantage to a puppy tortoise for maximum humans is their lengthy lifespan. Larger tortoises, just like the sulcata, can stay extra than 70 years, so you'll want to have a plan for worrying for a puppy tortoise of their and your antique age. Housing: many tortoise species are pretty massive and want a respectable sized enclosure, ideally exterior. Because of those prime housing arrangements, puppy tortoises are quality ideal for regions with milder climates. Depending at the temperatures in which the tortoise originates and the place in which you stay, it is able to be vital to carry puppy tortoises interior in a single day or at some stage in cooler weather, and with the bigger tortoises offering indoor housing may be a massive challenge. Some species additionally want to hibernate, which may be very demanding at the tortoise and calls for unique environmental situations. Point 1. When building an outside pen, you should make certain it's far sturdy in which you bury your fences when you have a burrowing puppy tortoise. Tortoises are pretty sturdy, particularly the bigger ones, and flimsy enclosures won't maintain them for terribly lengthy. Some tortoises additionally climb distinctly properly, so they'll require a roofed pen. It is likewise very essential to make certain the enclosure maintains predators out, inclusive of dogs. Make certain there aren't any risks with inside the pen, inclusive of toxic plants. Provide simplest shallow water, no sharp gadgets, and no small, inedible gadgets which can be by chance ingested. Also, for a few tortoises, looking to climb steps or different barriers can bring about them tipping onto their backs. That is something that ought to be avoided. Most puppy tortoises can even want a few refuge exterior which include a canine house. Many proprietors frequently warn us those food and water tortoises could make thrilling pets despite the fact that they are able to gift a few demanding situations because of their length and nutritional habits. Diets range primarily based totally on species. However, all puppy tortoises want pretty a number of ingredients with cautious interest paid to the quantity of roughage in addition to the calcium-phosphorus balances in their meals. Some species have voracious appetites and additionally want a massive quantity of meals. Time for each day meals education and the prices related to the quantity of meals a tortoise eats ought to be considered earlier than getting one as a puppy. Choosing your pet: it is quality, as with every reptile, to get a captive bred puppy tortoise if in any respect feasible. This isn't clean to do for a few species, however the seize and delivery situations may be appalling and bring about careworn animals which can be then extra susceptible to disease. It is likewise feasible in a few regions to find puppy tortoises from rescues. Lots of those are from proprietors who determined they couldn't cope with the quantity of protection and care a tortoise calls for. Any puppy tortoise this is new in your family ought to be checked for parasites and quarantined for some time to make certain that it's far healthy, particularly if different tortoises are gift. Some species may be competitive with different tortoises, and if more than one men are stored in too small of an enclosure, combating can also additionally end result. This should cause doubtlessly extreme accidents across the eyes and at the legs. It is important to select the proper species of puppy tortoise for you, primarily based totally on housing needs, environmental needs, and food plan requirements. Different species have markedly unique person sizes, temperature and mild needs, diets, and a few want to hibernate even as others do now no longer. Be certain to analyze every man or woman species of tortoise you're thinking about previous to obtaining your new puppy. Common puppy tortoises consist of Russian, red-footed, and cherry-head varieties, sulcata, Greek and radiated tortoises. However, there also are many others. Common health problems like maximum reptiles, tortoises are susceptible to respiration infections. Pet tortoises that had been raised inside the wild are much more likely to be afflicted by respiration infections, which result from unsanitary situations. A tortoise will seem lethargic, lose weight, and might display extra mucus around its mouth and nasal passages. Early symptoms and symptoms of a respiration contamination consist of wheezing and a tortoise refusing meals. Respiratory infections are generally dealt with antibiotics which can be given through injection. But this calls for a prognosis from a certified reptile veterinarian. While your tortoise is present process remedy for a respiration contamination, it ought to be stored warm. Tortoises are also at risk of metabolic bone disease, MBD, that is the end result of a food plan that doesn't have sufficient calcium. 2 Like many reptiles, tortoises want to be uncovered to ultraviolet radiation A and B, UVA B, so one can take in calcium. Tortoises inside the wild normally bask inside the solar for maximum in their waking hours to get this degree of UVA B publicity. If a tortoise doesn't get sufficient calcium, its shell will display the symptoms first. If it's a younger tortoise, the shell won't develop at a fast sufficient rate. Older tortoises can also additionally increase susceptible bones of their legs, and feature trouble walking, or maybe go through bone fractures. MBD is treatable, however the longer it persists, the much less threat of healing the tortoise has. Consult a certified veterinarian, who will probably advocate a calcium-heavy food plan and extra publicity to daylight or UVA B rays. Suitable species. As you recollect bringing a puppy tortoise into your home, you can locate it beneficial to examine. In addition, approximately positive species cited here, which include the sulcata, Greek tortoise, and the red-footed tortoise. Hermann's tortoise as some other right species to preserve as pets, or you can locate that some other breed of tortoise will be the proper puppy for you.